Welcome to Clarity Under Pressure by Mindful Corporate Mastery. Today, we're talking about mental loops, those repetitive thought cycles that quietly drain your energy, clarity, and leadership capacity. Let's get into it. I'll be honest, this one was really hard for me to break. I actually love putting a problem or decision into my mental operating system. I like to look at it from multiple angles and let it run in the background while I focus on other things. For a long time, I thought that meant I was processing. Sometimes I was. But other times, I was just replaying the same loop over and over. I ruminated over the same concern, frustration, or conversation like a broken record. Most leaders assume thinking about a problem repeatedly means they're working on it. But often, they're just reopening the same mental file without moving it towards resolution. Over time, those unresolved loops create exhaustion without actual clarity. Mental loops usually begin with some sort of real or perceived pressure. It could be dealing with a difficult employee situation, tackling strategic uncertainty, managing a financial concern, game playing a conversation you don't want to have, or it could just be a decision where fear and judgment are keeping you from making it. The brain keeps reopening the file because it keeps looking for safety and certainty. Instead of producing clarity, that repetition creates cognitive drag. You start revisiting the same issue over and over. It shows up during meetings, pops up late at night when you're wide awake. It quietly announces itself when you're answering emails. Or it intrudes during family time. You draw your attention away from being fully present. When you're trying to focus on something else, it creeps into your thoughts. Eventually, your mental bandwidth becomes fragmented. Here's the distinction that matters. Reflection creates movement, but rumination creates paralysis. Leaders trapped in loops, and I felt this way too. I'm still thinking about it. It's running in the background, or I'm still processing. Does that sound familiar? The real question is, when you think about it, are you moving towards resolution, or are you just replaying the real or perceived pressure? Those aren't the same thing. Mental loops start to distort your perception. The problem starts feeling larger than it actually is. Your decision-making process slows down because you're not giving the problem your full attention. Your energy decreases because of all the open tabs in your brain. It's why clarity matters so much. It interrupts those mental loops, not because every answer becomes easy, but because the brain finally has direction. One of the fastest ways to break a mental loop is to separate what you know about the problem or decision into four distinct parts: facts, assumptions, stories, and pressure. Here's a fact. An employee seems disengaged. They've become quieter in meetings. Deadlines are slipping slightly, and their energy just feels different. Now comes the assumption. They're about to quit. Now the internal story expands. Did I miss something? Are they unhappy with leadership? What if this spreads across the entire team? And what if I waited too long to address it? Here's the pressure. I need to handle this perfectly. So instead of having the conversation, you replay it mentally for days. Now comes the assumption. They're about to quit. Now the internal story expands. Did I miss something? Are they unhappy with leadership? What if this spreads across the entire team? And what if I waited too long to address it? You try to predict every reaction, every possible outcome, every wrong thing you could say. Clarity doesn't come from replaying. It comes from moving one step closer to the actual conversation. When leaders blend facts, assumptions, stories, and pressure together, anxiety increases. When they separate them, thinking improves. Ask yourself, what problem have I been mentally replaying for weeks? What conversation have I been postponing? What decision keeps reopening because I haven't defined the next step? And most importantly, when I think about it, is it producing clarity or is it just repetition? High performers are especially vulnerable to mental loops because they care deeply and carry significant responsibility. But replaying a problem is not the same as resolving it. Sometimes the most productive thing a leader can do is stop spinning mentally long enough to think clearly again. Thanks for listening. If this episode connected with you, don't just stay in awareness. Interrupt the loop in real time. Go listen to the Spotify reset, Too Many Tabs Open in Your Brain. It's a 4-minute reset for mental clarity. It's designed for those moments when your brain keeps reopening the same problem, conversation, or decision, and you need clarity quickly. And if you want to go deeper, check out our free 5-day clarity challenge. It will help you identify the patterns driving overwhelm, reactive thinking, and mental fatigue throughout your workday. Until next time.